Yeah, when did you get interested in reporting about Juarez, and why, and what was the first result of your experience there?
Oh yeah, that's an easy question. I was sitting in a chair in Tucson, Arizona in June 1995, reading La Jornada, a newspaper from Mexico City, left of center. And it had a short story on page 30 or something of a boy being sentenced for the murder of a man in El Paso, and the man murdered was the brother of the head of DEA intelligence, Bruno Jordan, was the man murdered. And I was so frustrated then. For years, I'd worked as a reporter. I'd been covering murders or seeing murders along the border, and there were all these little things, like little tombstone stories. Nobody connected the dots. Everybody pretended it wasn't going on. I thought, my God, we're killing people like it was Vietnam here, and nobody's doing anything. So I picked up a phone impulsively, and I called information and got DEA intelligence in El Paso. And to my surprise, I went right through to Phil Jordan. Later I realized you can't screen calls to narcs because they got secret informants. And Phil Jordan comes on the line and said, look, I want to talk to you about the murder of your brother. And he said, I don't talk on phones. If you come here, I'll talk to you. And hung up. And I got in my truck and drove straight to El Paso. And that cost me 8 years of my life, basically. 7.5 years. That was June of 1995. In 2002, I brought out a book called Down by the River about that murder, a book I'd promised the publisher I'd do in 18 months. Even if you don't use drugs, you can be a poor judge of time. And the book bankrupted me, and that's how I got involved. Ever since then, I've been figuring out ways to leave Juarez. I told my friend Julian Cardona, I'm never going to do this again. I want to go back to nature. Then he and I did a book on the Mexican migration called Exodus. Then I did another book on an undercover narc. Then I did a book called Murder City on the slaughter in Juarez. Then I sort of worked with Molly Malloy. It's really her book on the autobiography of Sicario. And the reason I can't get out of there is because something's going on there that's far more important than I am, that I don't understand. So, I guess to use a metaphor of American literature, Juarez has become my white whale, and I'm trapped with it. I don't know how you turn your back once you know what's going on there. A huge city of over 1 million that was the literal model for free trade in American factories has created mass poverty and death. I can't ignore it. Well, that's the answer.